So right now I'm working on the charge piping for my 2002 turbo project, and I came up with kind of a neat little tech tip that I wanted to share with the internet today. I'm in the process of getting set up to put a blow-off valve into my charge air system. It's a little bit tricky because this is the flange that they give you and it's just flat, whereas typically your charge tube is going to be circular like this, so they don't exactly meet up very well. So I was going to try and come up with some math and work some wizardry and decide exactly what the radius needs to look like on this flange, but I came up with a much simpler idea, and I'm sure other guys have probably done this. I bet it's on a forum somewhere, but I just got really coarse sandpaper and I'm wrapping it around the contour of the charge pipe just like that. And then the only tricky part was getting this flange exactly centered so that I'm sanding it exactly where I need to sand it. But as you can see, I'm starting to put a nice little radius exactly where it needs to be, so that way as I sand this down further I can just watch my progress, and once that gap closes up enough to weld it, then I can go ahead and weld it up, working it back and forth on that axis. So I'm going to continue with this process and see how it turns out and check back in a minute. So as you can see, the fitment actually turned out quite well on this, and I am very happy with it. I don't know of any welders who would complain if I brought this to their shop and said, make this garbage stick. Anyways, turned out pretty good. It took me about an hour to do, so I think it's definitely worth it because it cost me essentially a piece of coarse, cheap sandpaper and a little bit of elbow grease. Obviously this would be much easier to accomplish with a jig, but if you own a jig, you probably shouldn't be listening to me for tech tips anyway. So the way that I actually cut the hole for this is, prior to radiusing this, well, you know what, let me turn it into an infomercial for you. Are you struggling to cut a hole in your charge tube for your flange that isn't radiused for a charge tube? Have you tried drawing circles but you're just a knuckle dragger like me and you can't figure it out? Well, have I got a solution for you. Introducing blue painter's tape. With blue painter's tape, I'm sorry, my comedy is trash just like all of my vehicles. Anyways, so the way that I got this hole to be the correct size in reality is, say this is the flange, I just put it over a piece of blue painter's tape, draw a circle like that, and then cut it out and then place it wherever I need it on the charge tube, and then from there I just drilled a hole with my biggest drill bit and then used my Dremel or cheap rotary tool or whatever you have just to clean it out to the edge of the blue tape. So next I'm going to go get it welded up and see how it turns out. And so there we have it. And that is how I mounted this blow-off valve flange without any special tools except the welder. So I'm back here with my repurposed American Smithed in a Chinese. So I'm back here in the garage with my oh my god, cans that were smelted down in China, then sent back. So I'm back here in the garage with my repurposed American soda cans that were smelted down in China and then sent back to America in their repurposed form to make me go shh.